We're live and welcome, Scotty. Thank you very much for coming up from the South Coast.
Well, there's a reason why I'm here today. Couple of reasons.
You brought me a birthday cake.
No, I didn't buy you a birthday cake. When is it? Every day's a birthday.
That's right. That's exactly after our age.
Well, look, I missed you the last couple. I've
Missed you too, buddy.
I've been a bit preoccupied.
Missed your tips.
And also,
what have you been tipping well in the ATTS?
Well, I've been listening to your tips. I see your anytime try scorers have been pretty lame while I've been away.
Mate,
not good for the punters, mate. Not good for
the last week, I tell you, Valentine, Holmes, and Little are the guys I had. That's the standouts I had last time they played at Jubilee.
Well, you're lucky I've got broad shoulders, mate. I've had to come in today and give you a hand and help you out. And you know what? I can't help you out because the anytime try scorers, they haven't named the teams yet.
We can't do them yet.
And we're a little bit early because I'm actually going to New Zealand tomorrow.
Okay. What are you doing in New Zealand?
Well, I'm
with OzTag?
Yeah, OzTag. I'm the assistant coach of the Australian men's 30s team, and we've got a 5 test match series
against
over in New Zealand.
Against New Zealand?
Yeah. Okay. So all the Australian teams leave. Some are over there now, but we're leaving tomorrow, which is my birthday. So I need a birthday cake tomorrow because it's my birthday, the 2nd of April. Crystal ball.
Make a wish, Scotty. And blow the candles
out. So I'm off to New Zealand tomorrow, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to.
Does that take 3 hours?
Yeah, 3 or 4 hours.
Depending if you get a tailwind.
It's a good nana nap. Let me tell you, in the plane.
If you get the rotor-roar.
But I mean, let's get into why we're here and look at just a quick round review on last week. I managed to get in our little Space Giants tipping contest.
18 each.
We're all 18 tips each over the 4 rounds, and
fantastic.
The TAB's the only winner.
And me? Yeah, they got all my money from last week, apart from the South match, the first match that they were about to talk about.
Well, let's go. Thursday night, Rabbits 28, Panthers 18, a tale of 2 halves. Panthers are woeful.
To me, it wasn't a surprise, and I did mention that in the preview. It wasn't a surprise.
I did tip South, and Wayne Bennett, you got to hand it to him. He is the master. Absolute master, 28-0. Did you see the highlights of him? And that was his half-time dance, that. It wasn't full-time.
Oh.
That was his talk at half-time.
Oh, okay. I think you're just telling me that, but anyway.
So, no, truthfully, he was dancing at half-time. He couldn't have been any happier.
When do you ever see him smile? Very rarely.
Clint Eastwood.
If he's there, doesn't he look like Clint Eastwood?
He is the absolute Clint Eastwood.
Yes. Right? Let's stone face from the
good, the bad, the ugly.
Absolutely.
Souths were awesome, 28-0.
I must congratulate Colin Matangi, because every time I had him, he doesn't score. Every time I don't have him, he scored a double. Moley, I went for the other big guy, Pepe, and Moley scored. Give me a break. Jai Gray, he has won the man of the match. He has on radio, because I heard this one on radio and then I watched the replay later. He's won it by 3 out of the last 4 games. How good is he?
He's a tough bugger. Did you see him at the end of the match? He had 2 black eyes.
Unbelievable. He gets in there.
He reminds me of Matty Bowen.
He reminds me of Marky Shulman. How tough was he? Yeah, they'd pick him up like that out of a fallen scrum.
Well, Mark Shulman was a vintage St George halfback. He wasn't playing fullback.
No,
but
of course.
Look, when you look at some of the fullbacks now, you're talking Kennedy,
Kenny.
Yep. From the Sharks, Dylan Edwards for Penrith, and Gray for they're not as tall as the bigger fullbacks. I mean, Brisbane tried Cobbo at fullback, and we had Greg Brentnall.
Didn't really work with Cobbo at fullback.
I just think if you've got 2 big wingers that are good in the air, I reckon you can afford to have a quick nippy fullback, and he's got some. He's pretty brave, that little South fullback.
How brave is Alex Johnson? He scored a fantastic try and then he broke his scapula.
Poor bugger.
Man, I've never seen anyone have more injuries than him. I really, as happy I was for South to win, I was really devastated that Johnson had broken his scapula.
I'd like to see him get that record.
That's what I'm saying. Like, now we've got to wait. It depends if there's any ligament damage, But anyway, who the other try scorer was, of course, Jai Gray. Another one that I usually stand out. Liam Martin scored. We got that anytime try scorer. It was the only one we got. So I did suck lemons. I did say, hopefully I don't just get one leg of the double for the rest of the games, and I did. I was sucking lemons.
He's a real positive player, Liam Martin, for State of Origin for New South Wales. He's
a monster, isn't he?
Yeah,
he just doesn't stop.
No, he's killing it. He's close to their best player, and old Yo-Yo. I don't know if he's got any answers at the moment.
He's really lost without Cleary. I'm sorry, don't you think?
Well, I think they're lost without Luai.
Okay, well, there's a big comment. And ever since Luai's gone, they've let in the most broken tackles and let in the most points. Isn't that a record for them?
Yeah, I think they're a shadow of themselves, but the thing is they're still third on the totes at $7. They're sitting in 13th spot or something. It is only 4 games into the rounds, but
do you want to know the percentages that really swung that game around?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the kicks were fairly good for South. So would you put that down to Walker? 26-18. There's a big difference there.
Mm-hmm.
And the tackles made, ready for it? 404. Sorry, tackles made 443 for Penrith and 310 for South.
And Penrith.
That's going to tire you out, brother.
Well, Penrith, I think they made 300 tackles in the first half and probably missed about 250 of them. But anyway.
Ironically, they did. They're missing all these tackles, and somehow when they let Penrith back into the match, it balanced out for 37 missed tackles for South and 34 for Penrith. So it swung around when Penrith started. Because it was 28-0 at half-time, wasn't it?
Yep, and you don't deserve to win letting in 28 points at half-time. So
yeah, you were already at the TAB, weren't you?
Collecting. I was quite proud. But look, moving on to the next game, that was the earlier game on the Friday, and that was the Titans over the Roosters.
What did you think there?
Well, Titans have got an impressive pack. They got plenty of points in them.
Were you panicking? I was panicking just a little bit. I thought, don't tell me East are going to bring their A game.
Well, I did pick the Titans.
Well, we all did, but I'm just saying you weren't panicking at any stage?
No, not really.
Okay, and until Jaden Campbell did that mad intercept, that changed the game, surely.
And what about AJ Brimson?
What about AJ Brimson? Every time I have him for any time try score, he's another one, like a Kilamatangi. But anyway, yeah, he had a blinder. Probably one of the man of the matches with Campbell. It just keeps on giving. Let's have a look at the stats there, mate. The half time, it was pretty much even Stevens. And just looking here,
they just had more points in them, the Titans.
Possession was pretty much the same, 50-50. Kicks, 22-18, fairly similar. Tackles made, wait for it, Roosters, 362. That's going to tire you out, Scotty, against 317 for Titans.
And Radley, another head clash. Victor Radley.
What did I say there last program? Get headgear. What did Kalen Bond do? He started wearing headgear. Get some headgear, Radley. That's, 4 weeks in a row now we've had the HIA?
Oh, they're talking about his career and having to retire now, and he's had, 6 episodes in the last 2 or 3 years or something like that. And why wouldn't you wear headgear?
Yeah, I used to wear it because I was second row.
Yeah, but you did that for your looks.
Number 10, no, my ears. I didn't want cauliflower ears. There was pretty tight scrums in those days because you had to push as hard as you could.
Yep.
And you'd get jammed in between the
hips of the
props. And so my dad goes, no, your ears are starting to get bent, so you put the headgear on. Yeah, no, I was one of the fastest forwards. I was at Brightness and Seagulls. I was the only one that could keep up with Concodas out of all the forwards.
Well, I think that's how you can tell the difference between rugby union players and league players is their ears.
Yeah, you're right.
No, true.
I know, you're right.
A true scrum.
Well, Rex Mossam also played union, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So he had the mad cauliflower.
And their necks.
I always wanted to pick him out when I saw Rex Mossam. Okay, next game, Scotty.
Well, we're going on to the Saturday games and, another Friday game. Oh, Thursday, 2 Friday games. Obviously, my Broncos, 20-12 over the Dolphins in the wet. The return of Tony Staggs was absolutely brutal.
He's been hungry to get back into the game, he mentioned after the radio interview that I heard.
Yeah, no, he was brilliant. I thought that, geez, Adam Reynolds is looking fit. Adam Reynolds he's just looking superb. Ben Hunt was excellent again, and I thought Reece Walsh didn't overplay his hand. He was very, very good in defence.
There's a guy you're missing, who I thought was one of the players of the match, was Shibasaki.
Oh, shish kebab.
Yeah, shish kebab. Shibasaki.
2 tries.
He's quick. Look, he's quick, brother.
Yeah, and I mean Dane Mariner, who he's keeping out at the moment. It's
he's no slouch.
No, Madge Maguire's sticking with shish kebab, and he scored a double. And yeah, I just thought, look, the Dolphins tried real hard. I thought Kafusi had a really good game and offload for the first try, and yeah, look, it was always. They're just doing the hard yards at the moment. The Broncos, I think they're looking good. I think they're third on the total.
Would you classify that as a dirty win because there's always been that mad rivalry between them?
It was a battle at Brisbane, but look, it could have been a lot more open. I think the Hammer and Herbie Dodgers, they're going to find a way to use Herbie Farnsworth.
Mate, he's so freaking good, and they're not utilising him. You know,
absolutely not at all. So look, I tip the Broncos.
You need to hear some facts here. Kicking meters. Look, there's 1,100. You're talking about Reynolds, right? To the Broncos, 684. No kicking game for the Dolphins. That's it's not going to get your field position, Scott.
Yeah, but those meters predominantly came from Reynolds.
That's what I'm saying.
I think he made something like 700 or 800.
They need a Reynolds,
and the other 300 meters came from Benny Hunt. So
great combination. We mentioned that.
Well, when Ezra Mann gets back, he's got to come off the bench. Why separate the hands and skills of Reece Walsh, Adam Reynolds, Ben Hunt? Just incredible. They're going to go really deep into the semi-finals, the Broncos. Not just because I love them.
Missed tackles 46 for Dolphins and 42, surprisingly high for the Broncos.
That's going to happen in a wet game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're slipping off players, a lot harder to tackle.
Harder to hold the ball as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next match, Scotty.
That takes us to a wet weather game where, again, no one would have tipped in a game. What probably put the Dragons into the game in that wet weather at Cogra Oval against the Storm?
Well, you didn't hear the preview? I'd mentioned it 1 to 12 both sides. It wasn't. This was the game after that 99 grand final. There's hatred there, mate.
Yeah, there is.
There is hatred there from St George supporters. Did you see one of my favourite supporters on the hill? I don't know. Look, I don't know whether you're a transvestite or whether you were, or whether it was a joke. But it was the first game I went next door to have a look at the game. Watched it with all the St George supporters. Hard to hear it. I had my earplugs in.
Yeah.
And there was a woman, and I thought she had a shirt on, but it was a man dressed as a woman, right? But it said cheer. And the cameraman kept on focusing every time Saints would do something good and go to this she shirt. So I go, there's she shirt. She for sure.
Mate, unfortunately, that's life. I don't want to talk about.
We're not, but listen to this. You know what was the funniest thing? One of your favourite players, Will Warbrick.
Yep.
He drops the ball. Well, that, but drop. Yeah. Valentine has come over, and you can see the little bit of cop this, and he's pushed him on. Did you see that? And that's when everyone started coming in for the Barney.
I tell you who showed the you cop it, and I was really happy for him. Was Gutho.
Oh,
he was so stoked.
Didn't he have? But didn't he have a blinder?
He had that bit of the.
Yeah,
because the relief of getting
he's always trying, mate. Even when Parramatta was screwed last year, he was still busting his ball.
Yeah, he was bust a gut.
Yeah,
all the time, every time, and
he's been doing that for Saints. I think.
So
maybe one game he had a quiet one, but mate, that one was a classic game.
And Flanagan got Little on at the right time, scored the try from dummy half.
But did you see them when you watch the game? They really got into Pappenhausen's face.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give him any room. And Munster, as soon as he got the ball, it's like bang onto him,
right in their face. And look, that's just the wet weather. Can't gain any momentum. Pappenhausen scored a pretty easy try. And look,
Don't mention the try scorers for Saints.
Well, I think they got. I think they got
Holmes and Little.
They got some form problem. The Storm.
Yeah, but didn't you think that the organisation around the ruck there was because Jerome Hughes broke his hand, and I think he was sadly lacking from the game.
That's a massive loss, and they're still favourites at the comp at $2.88. I see at the $2.88.
I think St George could form if they could keep that form going. I think they could come in. Not to win the comp, I'm saying at least get to the 8 this year.
Well, look, I did early on in our pod say that I thought the Dragons would make the 8.
Mm-hmm.
They were the big improvers.
Why you sort of?
I'm reiterating because I'm going to reiterate on one of my failures from the first podcast, and that's the Doggies, but we'll get to them.
Okay.
So, but look, 14-8, pretty impressive. See the Dragons.
Harry Grant's a monster, 49 tackles.
Yeah, work rate.
Damien Cook, underrated, 49 tackles, brother.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty gutsy.
Yep.
Most meters run, 190 gutho.
That's big work in the rain.
And Will Warbrick, who tried to catch that ball like a coco.
It's entitled. He's entitled, but look, he's a gun.
Oh, can you believe it? Every time I stand Christian Tuipoloto out and as my banker, he doesn't score. What did he do? Now there was a chance where he let Melbourne back into the game when he dropped it off from the kickoff. They just scored with Valentine Holmes.
Yep, from the
kickoff. Don't take your eye off the ball. You saw him. He just looked forward to where the players were coming.
Anyone can do it. Ben Hunt did it. Cost us a grand final, 2015, against the Cowboys.
So that rivalry is going to go well into the season, mate. 14-8. Storm didn't like losing that, I believe.
Well, I just don't think Bellamy's happy with the form overall from Melbourne. They were unimpressive and got criticised more than Penrith. Penrith got, in their last game when they did beat Penrith, Penrith were praised for their bravery without their guns, and the Storm, when they could have put them away after leading 14-0, were criticised. So look, I don't think their form overall is brilliant at the moment. They're not exceeding anyone's expectations. Saturday, Cowboys and Raiders.
How'd you see that?
I tipped Cowboys.
There was a lot of exhaustion in the match up at that with that humidity.
Yeah, they had to have those 20-minute drink breaks.
You tipped Raiders? No, you tipped Cowboys.
I tipped Cowboys.
Yeah,
I tipped Cowboys.
Why did you tip the Cowboys?
Because of the heat up there, and I thought they were closer to a win. I thought they might have more points in them.
Yeah.
And that I thought they were playing for their coach, to be honest. Thomas Dearden, both on fire.
Both Saints and Cowboys have opened up their accounts for the year, eh?
Yep.
And it was good. He's a fantastic player when he won the grand final in 2005.
How did you go in that game for your anytime try scorers?
Jake Clifford had a blinder, and I overlooked him. Well, I had Xavier Savage, and but my banker was Sebastian Chris. So he didn't look like scoring actually. Robert Darby, I actually had him for Tonga. For Kummels, and I let him go. But Thomas Dearden I did have as one of the legs.
Yep.
But I couldn't get the. I didn't have Savage. I went off Savage and put in Sebastian Chris, and I didn't have Tarpany. You're a big Tarpany fan.
Monster. I would have had Tarpany. I would have had Savage and Thomas Dearden.
Yeah, Thomas Dearden was one of my standouts.
Look, 2 weeks ago we heard one of those classic Ricky Stewart press conferences.
Not as good as Desi.
Is he? No, but he's always got it in him about the referees and that.
There was no excuse this time, was there?
No, he couldn't argue.
Zero.
Could he?
Zero. Yeah. Okay. So Sinbin's Coin Hass. Is he Hass? Is he related to anyone?
I don't know if he's related.
I think he is. I think it's his younger brother. You should know that, being a Broncos fan.
No, I don't look at their family tree, mate. I just look at the team listings. You put too much pressure on me this bloke.
Don't suck lemons like I did last week, Scotty.
You know, you make me feel like I'm trying to, promise the world and deliver an Atlas like the Atlas Spunts and let you down.
We're going to get to them shortly.
But look,
Tackles made, Scotty. Wait for it. 350 for Raiders. They just couldn't hold the ball.
No.
That's unlike them as well.
Completion rates were terrible for the Raiders.
But here's a classic against the Stats. 44 missed tackles for your Cowboys and only 31 for Canberra. What do you put that down to?
I can't say, just the heat. But what it does tell me is that the Cowboys
drink breaks.
Yeah, but the Cowboys
they did. They had drink breaks.
Yeah, they did. Look, I just think the Cowboys, they made the best of the opportunities that they had, and the Raiders had some opportunities and just couldn't complete.
Now, my little vehicle or machine or engine is always allowed 10 points for any really good home side. Would you say that's a good theory?
Yeah, 10-point start's good for any home team.
Because every time I go against the home side, I get screwed. With
one and a half try start.
Yeah, for sure.
Some grounds more than others.
How was that try from Savage? Quite phenomenal. For a little guy, he can get up there.
He's very talented.
Yeah.
They rely heavily on him.
Most tackles, Matty Nicholson, a bit of a work animal from England, isn't he? From England. And Reece Robson. He's not going to lose his spot. 48 tackles. That's phenomenal. Every week, Reece Robson gives out. Next game, please, Scotty.
Sharks and Doggies. Doggies 20, the Sharks 6.
Come on, no one picked this. Except the Dogs fans.
Well, I went 50-50 and I went Sharks because it was at Shark Park.
Yeah.
And that's that 10 points, right, that you might be talking about. I thought the Sharks would be a 1.5 try better team than the Doggies. And to be honest, they were weak on their edges defence.
Shocking.
Canterbury.
Didn't they lose someone, though, on those edges?
They need to lose Nico Hines from halfback. That's what they need to do.
It's an exclusive. Look into that camera and tell them that. Nico
Hines needs to be pushed wider. He needs to be in the 5/8 role, and they need to get their 5/8.
I think you're right.
He's not the player he was. He was best player in the comp 2 years ago, signed the contract, and he is just absolutely lost, and I'm not the only person.
So where would you put Trindle then? You'd put Trindle at halfback?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Can we look at the stats there, please, Scotty? Bronson, okay, here's another thing that killed me. The two legs I always have when I'm going Dogs. And my late wife was a mad Dogs fan, and I really supported them a lot last week. Last year, they got me a lot of surprise victories up. I always stood out Bronson Sherry, Steve Crichton, and the guy that's missing, Matt Burton. They were my three standouts, and they went in.
Yep.
Bronson Sherry held the leg of Stone Street, and that try was disallowed. But it was 4 tries to 1, so pretty convincingly there, Scotty. Half-time was pretty even Stevens. I thought the game could have continued in that vein, that wrestle, but they just lost the plot in the second half and Canterbury opened up.
Well, Sharks have lost the plot. All they want to try and do is score from kicks.
Yeah.
Whereas the Dogs, everything on the edges, it was flat passes, and they had when you're
that was wet weather football, right? Well, yeah, the flat passes are wet weather football on the burst.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, it was more the Dogs have got a really strong skill set. It's the first time I saw really catch and pass, great skill set. But the thing is, they're giving opportunities for the playmakers. There's bodies in motion. Every time you see, it's very similar to the Penrith Panthers.
Yeah.
Cleary's got lots of bodies in motion.
Ready for the second phase play.
And, if someone throws an intercept and there's only one body in motion, well, then you can blame it on him.
Yeah.
But when you've got 3 or 4 bodies in motion,
and around the back,
and it's about selection process.
Yeah.
And Canterbury, their selection process from their halves to those guys that are bodies in movement, every time they passed and it was received, Canterbury just picked the correct selection, and they had them at 6 and 7s. And I think 13 plus is a fair indication of how big the gap was. I think Sharks are pretenders.
I did mention to you before the preview of the match that did Sharks look better beating South? Because remember they took the foot off the accelerator, and South were filthy going into the Fridays match, but maybe we're just building them up too much. The Sharks, too much hype.
Well, we did say in the first podcast, I said if you're going to win 1 out of every 8 semi-finals, you're a waste of space in the semi-finals. Right, sorry, Sharks fans, but
one of your favourite players got 60 tackles. He's a machine, but the poor bastard just had to keep on tackling because they couldn't hold the ball. 60 to McInnes.
Wow.
Cameron McInnes. That is phenomenal. 45 to Reed Marnie. He's going to get some time for that, surely.
Yeah.
2 illegal shots. You can't play next week.
He's been superb. Geez, Parramatta would love to have him back, wouldn't
they? He's a little work animal, that guy.
He had a great game, Reed Marnie.
Yeah. Just trying to get down to the the tackles made here. Fairly substantial to Cronulla. That must have tied them in that second half, 378, whereas Bulldogs were only 338. That's 40 more tackles, brother. You're talking man fatigue there. What about Braden Trindle's kicking game?
Yeah,
bit hard in the wet. Or Nico Hines, some of his kicks weren't very good, were they?
I'm not happy with Hines. I'm happy though. You can stick him in there.
No, but is it similar to Lomax? Will we feel that he's out of position with Hines?
Yeah, I think he is. They've got to find something. They're lost with him at halfback.
Yeah.
Give him some space. I don't know. Throw him at lock or something. I don't know. He's big enough.
Yeah. Can we move along to the Brookvale Four Pines favouritism?
Sunday afternoon, Seagulls.
The first 5 minutes, penalty Manly. Penalty Manly.
Well, who used to do that for Manly? Greg Hartley.
Greg Hartley,
who
ironically was a Bulldogs fan.
Well, yeah, but
but he used to back on Manly.
Oh, he used to back on Manly. Surely he backed on you.
Jason Saab went in for the first try.
Saab, I'm always big on a Charlie Saab.
Yeah, but he's skinny, always skinny though. He's one of the top favourites all the time. 150 he was. Corey Waddell. I did have Tolotol Kohler. Last week I had him and got pulled out.
Yeah, I wouldn't have picked any of those. Even
Sean Lane. Give us a break. He scores once every 10 years.
And often Gowie, like his ex-Broncos player. And
yeah. Was this in the right place at the right time? How bad was Brown again? There's a smile on your face. Tell the people how bad Brown was.
Well,
is it the pressure on him? Is it the expectation? The media? He's read the media. It's got to him psychologically.
Well, look, 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't here 2 weeks ago, and Newcastle were dreadful. They killed my life. So maybe Brown's going to a team that's performing the way he's performing. Because, mate, I don't think Newcastle are worth $1.4 million at the moment on their last bit of form. But anyway, it's
don't forget they didn't have Dylan Lucas as a superstar. It does make a difference, mate. These key players on the edge, they make a big difference, and depending who you're playing. But anyway, they had the bye, so thank God for that.
So, Sea Eagles were pretty impressive. All the news this week was about DCE.
Did you hear his radio interview after the match?
Mate, I reckon
he was fairly scathing.
He's
his own business, isn't it?
He'd make a good politician. And it's his own business.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you, you know what? Daly Cherry Evans, he basically ripped Manly a new backside. He put him under the pump big time. And I reckon he'll definitely go to the Roosters. Politis has cleaned up there. They'll pay him 1.1 or 1.2 mil or whatever, and they'll get another 2 seasons out of him. And who can say that they won't get another 2 seasons out of him at that age? Because St George got rid of Ben Hunt and South Sydney got rid of Adam Reynolds, and look what they're doing.
Exactly. Let's have a look at the some stats here. This is quite surprising, Scotty. 34 missed tackles for Manly, and that's why Parramatta had a little bit of a sniff. Only 29 for Parramatta. Kicking meters massive. That's got to come from DCE. 779 to 500. They're missing a kick. What else is Parramatta missing? They've got some big lug forwards. Is it to do everything the game around Brown and Lomax being in the wrong position?
No, I just don't.
What is it?
They just want Moses back to get a little bit of guidance. There's no one who can.
How long was Moses off?
I don't know, another 3 or 4 weeks or something.
Crikey. Do we sing the RIP for Parramatta over those next 4 games?
I feel sorry for Jason Rolls. He puts his hand up. Hey, I can catch a first-grade premiership team. This year doesn't mean anything. That's not going to hurt his role anyway.
Well, Canterbury went through this, don't forget, in their rebuilding phase.
And we talk about Canterbury, right? But just going back to them, 4 from 4. pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Result-wise.
Yeah.
They beat the Sharks the other night, and I think it's a case of how bad the Sharks played, because they've still got Burton and Kickout to come into that side.
Hallelujah.
And that could have been another 14 points.
Right. Yeah, undoubtedly with Burton, he's been on fire.
So the Dogs, I apologise to all the Dogs supporters out there. I thought that they would slip, but look, they're
you weren't the only one.
They're a pretty solid. They're a pretty solid unit.
Tipped against them.
I mean, it's easy to say they're a top 4 team when they lead after only 4 games, but let's see what happens post State of Origin. As we said, the teams that will struggle most are the teams that don't have the points in the bank after the State of Origin.
You did mention that, and it does make a difference.
Well, how tough are Penrith going to see it? Because at the moment they're paying, what, $7?
They're going to need to be at map or Caduceus and Gamelite sitting out on the death seat. Storm's still coming. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Storm are 2 points behind the lead. It's early in the season. They're paying $2.88. The Broncos are paying $5, and third on the line at 13th position with only 2 premiership points.
Yeah,
is the Penrith Panthers at $7.
Unbelievable,
right? Now, again,
whoever thought you'd get 7 to 1?
The Dogs are paying. They lead the comp up to 4 rounds. They're paying $12, right? And then you've got Manly, who are in second spot at $15.
How good is Olakau'atu?
Terrific.
He was worth the big money, wasn't he?
Oh, absolutely worth the money.
Yeah.
And look at this for value. 5th place Titans, $41 they're paying.
Each way, Scotty?
And they're only 2 points off the lead.
What's their price for the top 8 is the question.
Well, it'd be half of that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably even quarter. Last game, Scotty, here. Before we have the quick tip of the...
Was a cracker. I thought it was the most entertaining game of the weekend.
It was. I watched it again this morning.
Bit of tit for tat.
It was great. I thought it was always going to be anyone's game. Even from the time I tipped Warriors, I thought could go either way, and it nearly did.
Is this the game when the bloke got sin binned after the hooter?
Yes. No, hang on. No, that was the Doggies game. No, that was the Doggies game.
Doggies and Sharks. Yeah, so back on that.
Tua Piloto.
Yeah, Tua Panawe or
Tua Piloto.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, you like to be.
What about getting sin binned after the hooter?
It hasn't been done before, has it?
I don't know.
That could be a record.
I haven't seen it in all the games I've watched. I haven't seen anything like that before. But
look, if I say something about West, I'm not. There's no such thing as a racist in my bones, right? Because I've got Chinese interbred into my family, and we live amongst the big Chinese community here where we're living. But can I mention the name of the try scorers?
Yep.
Pole, Toa, Fatape, Fino. I don't know which one is which, because they keep on coming on and off the bench. They're very hard to tip with Tigers, and I don't know who's who. I'm still working out with Bollo's a winger, or because I don't know the team that well, and Benji's interchanging them so much.
Yeah, and look, he's trying to find a blend, and then he's trying to find impact. I thought both sides were enterprising in their attack. It was a very tit-for-tat game. And only once was there a back-to-back tries, and that was when the Tigers took the lead. And I thought the defence on both sides, it wasn't about defence, it was purely about
one
attack.
Of those old attacking games.
But in the Tigers' defence, and I did tip the Warriors, as you know, that
we all did, the three of us.
Yeah, but look, that's at Campbelltown too. So it was
they could have won it, bro. There was a turning point with 5 minutes to go. You know what happened?
In defence of the Tigers, I've got to say, that penalty for the head knock, I mean, I don't know, but if I'm running into a player and the defender is grabbing you like this, and then I can't stiffen my neck like this to ensure that it doesn't fold into the body. Now, it's natural that you and I both, it's like when you go and hug someone and their head dips into your shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, mate, the initial contact wasn't in the shoulder to the head, as far as I was concerned. He grabbed him with emotion, and you're always going to get this part.
Of course.
I'd rather...
You lead with that part.
You lead with that part, and
running in and tackling.
And I reckon as an attacker, you lead into their shoulder area or chest area here as a bit of a cushion, because that's if you start putting your head into someone's belly, you snap your neck in half.
Exactly.
So I don't know what they were supposed to do. Look, I understand there's recklessness if someone slips and you clip them in the head. I get all that. Where are they supposed to go? But that to me was just an absolute conventional tackle. I saw nothing in it. You are absolutely going to turn this game inside out if you're splitting hairs the way they're doing it at the moment. Because to me, that wasn't a penalty.
But it cost them the game.
Cost them the game.
Yeah.
But referees can award 7 tackles in the game, like they did twice to the Cowboys. They did twice to the Cowboys in semi-finals. End of their season, the NRL, 2 referees awarded seven tackle tries that cost the Cowboys 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. They don't care if it costs them the result. They just, you know what they say? Human error. Well, human error. What about it when Cobbo stood on the sideline and the touch judge?
Oh, he missed it, and he was leaning into it, having a look.
What's the touch judge doing? What's he looking at?
How you couldn't see that?
Get under, mate.
That stuff is game changing.
Well, it's good for his resume. I'll tell you now, that bloke wouldn't even get a job scanning groceries at Woolworths, that touch judge. He's got to find something a little bit more simpler in life.
Or in a Perkins paste factory.
The old Perkins paste, eh? Remember the pink tub with the white?
Oh, the smell of it was bad. Was it fish
paste.
or salmon or something?
Yeah, Perkins paste. Bloody glue. But
mate, there was a couple of decisions from Bunker Funds on the weekend. That Katoa try in the Melbourne, come on. That's a try. That's a try. Any given day, that's a try. I did want to mention that about the Bunker Funds. And then they're rightfully called the Bunker Funds, Alan Fund.
Well, you know what it does do? It
ruins game.
These funds ruin the punts.
Yeah. Oh, punts. I had him as my standout. Do you know what I was saying about the Bunker Funds? You know, I always stand on Katoa.
I know this. Like that touch judge, you know, Cobbo put his foot out. I love the Broncos. And then that pass to Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh pokes to Jesse Arthurs. And Arthurs get out. And they're saying it's champagne footy. Shouldn't have been champagne footy. Should have been another restart for the Dolphins. But that touch judge, he wasn't obscured. He wasn't like, I don't mind.
He looked around the corner.
I don't mind.
So he wasn't obscured.
Well, that's correct. I don't mind looking at and going, okay, well, he didn't have the view of 26 cameras.
And then you see it on the replay.
But when that guy is running down the field with no obstructions, no nothing, and he's got the flag like this, and he's looking out along the line, and I'm going, what are you sniffing, mate?
But how much money? These guys are getting paid good money, Scotty.
Yeah, and
this is the difference between the punters winning and losing and teams getting 2 points.
Well, I'd like to find out who he was and see if he's still doing a line this week.
I doubt it.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me he's doing a first-grade game this week rather than doing the under-14s in Division 6 out of Campbelltown.
My phone's about to crash, brother. I'm just looking at the stats here. Have you got the stats there, brother, of that game? No. We'll get onto a quick review before we wrap the
year. Yeah, because we're not going to do any time try scorers today because we haven't got the players. But so I'm sure you'll do a little update during the week.
Yeah, we might even change our minds. We could change our minds.
No,
if there's a couple of players missing or included that make a difference in it, we can change our minds. We're just giving the punters an idea of what's happening.
I like apologising if I need to apologise. I like to commit. I don't like changing my mind.
No, but how many times is a player that gets pulled out at the last second make a big difference? I mean, Lucas was one of them.
To the TAB
against the Titans, they only give you your money back if it's a head HIA. They'll only give you your ticket back if you got a 3-leg, 4-leg. How many leg you got? 2-leg, or even just the one single bet. They'll only give it to you if he's a HIA. Well, they won't give it to you if he's pulled a hammy. And Bradman Best got me a few times with that hammy last year.
So
you do your money.
and correct me, is it the same in horse racing and that? Because I'm not into horses and dogs. You know, I bet on soccer and rugby league. But what happens on a scratching?
I was at random.
So a minute before the race, there's a scratching and the horse is spewing its guts out and they say we can't run. What happens?
Well, you get your money back, but if he's a favourite, there'll be deductions from the other odds. Otherwise, they'll get paid over the odds. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if he's favourite, it's got to affect the market. But what happened in one bet I had at random one time, I was cheering going, he's come back, he lost a weight. They have weights in the saddle, so the jockeys, some of these thin jockeys can weigh 49 kilograms or 51 kilograms. Disqualified. I lost my money.
That's not.
He wins the race. I lost my money
because his weight fell out.
Yeah, it's the weight fell out. Where is it on the track? He can't go and pick it up, but he's had to jump on the scars and go, mate, you're underweight. Disqualified. Wow. Where did the punters want to we lost the money? It always goes, you're right, the TAB, it always turns around to it. That's why with bonus bets, you don't get the full value of a bet with a bonus bet.
Not at all. So just quickly on the ladder, you got dogs out there on their own.
Yeah.
8 points, 4 games from 4. Pretty admirable. They got your Newcastle Knights this week, but they're paying $12.
Without Dylan Lucas.
Seagulls at 6 points in second spot on for and against. The best defensive team in the comp at the moment are the Dogs at 58, that's impressive. They've scored 104 points. The best attacking team in the comp are the Eagles in second spot with 104.
That doesn't surprise me.
And the Broncos with 118. There's only 3 teams, Doggies, Sea Eagles and Broncos, but to their credit, they've only played 4 games. There's some teams there that are on 6 points that have only played the 3 games. And that's the Storm, the Titans, and they're the next lines there. And, of course, Titans at 41. Then in 6th spot, Warriors paying $36. The Rabbitohs at 34. And your Knights slip into the top 8 on 6 at $46.
Crikey's.
So
they'll need a full regalia, mate.
They're
missing too many vital players.
There's some good value there. Look, I think the Dogs at $12 and Seagulls at 15 is good value for the top 8.
Oh, are you going to put your money where your mouth is?
Oh,
or do I have to give you this?
Yeah, look, it's too early. $126 the Dolphins, and the Eels are paying 101 in last spot. And
I'll give you 1,000 to 1 the Eels.
1,000 to 1. They will finish wooden spoon.
Yeah,
they will finish wooden spoon.
Seemingly, the last time, Scotty, they lost their last 4 games. What happened?
And they won't even have to play the Tigers this time. Tigers are sitting in 9th spot. They're paying $46. But what I reckon would be a good bet.
And I've got to ask one question so I remember.
Yep.
About the Tigers. Don't forget what you were going to say. Is Gus Gould right about the Tigers being a possible 8 threat?
No way.
Okay. Gus Gould?
Tigers.
Gus Gould?
Roosters.
Give Gus Gould the lemon.
Gus, suck on this, mate. Suck on this. I reckon the best value in the competition to make the top 8.
Yeah. At the moment.
Punters, put $100 on the Cowboys to make the top 8. Cowboys at the moment, 14th position.
Look into the camera and tell them that.
$61.
Look into the camera and tell them that. At this early stage of betting.
At this early stage in the comp.
Even before the Magic Round.
Even before Magic Round, Cowboys to make the top 8.
The only thing is
only at $61.
The only thing is if they lose someone like Dearden, that's like Newcastle losing Bradman Best and Lucas.
Look, they'll lose Dearden for the state of origin, but still.
Who was that guy that had a blinder? What was his name? Oh, because my phone's dead. I mentioned him before.
Yeah,
the halfback.
The halfback.
How good is he?
Yeah, he's good. He's great. Doesn't matter. Thomas Dearden and the Cowboys.
He's pretty good
to make the top 8.
Okay.
Put 100 on him. And
what about out of the favourites, Scotty? Give me a tip out of the favourites. Give me two of your favourites that may or usually make the grand final or make the semis. You don't think Sharks have got a chance, even if they started?
I don't think the Sharks have got a chance.
Started with 16 players on the field. Scotty?
Well, what about?
So right off Sharks. Forget Sharks. They could make playoffs, but not. They might not have made the semis on that effort.
No. Look, I think
Can Penrith bounce back once they got Cleary back and a few extra players?
A lot of people would say yes. I'm not convinced with Penrith. I reckon
Not yet.
I reckon
You still think Luai is the catalyst?
I reckon Penrith are gone.
Okay. Look at the camera and tell them that.
Penrith are gone.
Well, you also said you'd never tip Parramatta for the rest of the round.
I'm never going to tip Parramatta again. I'm keeping my word on Parramatta, and they are keeping their word to me because they're 4 and block.
They tried to interview
4 and block.
Lomax after the game. Did you hear that? He had no enthusiasm because he's bust his balls the last two weeks, but he's stubborn, and the coach just won't put him on the wing.
And
where he should be.
It's going to affect his form.
Maybe he jumped up. Usually he'd get them for St George, right? Did you see the one he jumped up for? He only got halfway up. Well, that's not Lomax.
Better wingers going around now.
Absolutely.
All right, let's look at this week's rounds just quickly. Thursday night.
Hey, you didn't give me those two players. The two teams out of the top sides giving you early. We want your selections early. Punters are
well, I know
are frothing at the mouth.
Where I feel at the moment, the best value for money.
Yeah. Out of the favourites, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about your outsider tips of Cowboys.
Well, it was a 3-horse race before the comp started. It was Broncos, Storm, and Panthers. I'm writing Panthers off. So at the moment, I still think Storm have got better.
You're going to put Bulldogs in there, I think, for the semis at least.
I'm not putting the Bulldogs in there. I still think the Bulldogs will fall away. And I think the other team that
This is for the Bulldog supporters. Lemon in his mouth.
I think the Bulldogs will still fall away. But having said that,
not with Burton and Kick-Out back.
Oh, you know who I'm liking at the moment?
Who are you liking?
Seagulls.
Okay. With DC. Oh, hang on. When was that? Were you the one who sent me the cartoon for the week with Tom Trbojevic?
I sent you the cartoon with Tom Trbojevic Weekend at Turbos.
Weekend at Turbos.
Grabbing him like Weekend at Bernie's. Like
basically, he couldn't walk. What he's done an MCL. There's another similar to Burton and Kick-Out. Another six if it's not healing properly.
They'll still learn I reckon Anthony Seibold's a good coach, but anyway, the Broncos didn't like him.
Do you think he's going to have to drink more lemons in the morning?
I don't know what he's going to do. There was a photo.
I'm just saying his voice. He's got a bit of voice affecting, maybe screaming at some of the players.
There's some bad things I could say about someone who's got a sore throat, but anyway, it's terrible.
Scotty, who's your other two?
Him and Des Hasler have got the same sort of voices, haven't they?
Oh,
Desi Hasler.
That clip will be forever in my laugh factory when he had a go, and rightfully so. I would have done the same. They lost their first 5 games last year.
Poor bugger.
Beautifully said.
He's doing all right. He's doing all right.
Look, he's a bit more reserved this year because they're doing things. Those players are finally effing doing things, right?
They are. And they've got plenty of attack in them. Just have to sort out their...
So they're bolters too to make the 8.
My two bolters at this point in time are, look, the long shot that I'm tipping is Cowboys. I think they'll make the top 8. And I'm liking the Warriors.
You do like the Warriors,
I like the Warriors. And I like... They're coming under the radar a bit.
You make sure the Warriors subscribe and like what you're saying here. You're going to New Zealand.
I am.
I want you to show them this. I want you to show them this episode and tip them to win the comp.
Go the Wars! Oh, that's what I was saying. I was tipping them on the weekend.
When you go into that little press conference, I go, right, everyone's going to watch Epaw episode 8. Everyone's going to watch it.
I will.
And you've got a good chance of getting in the 8, and you might even win the comp at rank outsider odds.
I won't win the comp. But
don't tell them that.
They are good.
At them.
Look, Thursday, Raiders at home against the Sharks. I'm tipping Raiders at home.
To bounce back?
Yeah.
That one's going to be close, I feel.
Yeah.
At this stage.
I agree.
Because Ricky needs vengeance.
Can you believe...
And you're a big Tarpany fan. How good is Tarpany as opposed to...
and Jesse
Folamoa Sahe, or whatever his name is, from Gold Coast.
Look,
how good is he?
He's great.
Yeah, they're both big, strong players.
Yep. So, look, I've gone... I think there'll only be 10 points in it. Look, they're actually putting Sharks at favourites.
You'd have 1 to 12 both, wouldn't you?
Well, they're putting Sharks at $1.58.
And how much are Raiders at home?
$2.39 at home.
Value. There's the value.
239 at home. So
they need to improve.
I think
is Ricky going to give them the Flanagan treatment? What Saints got?
Yeah, I mean,
run them up sandhills.
They're both on the backs of losses. So, I don't think the Sharks are all that good. So, mate, I think great value, $2.40.
Well, I'd have to look into that match before our review on Thursday. I'd like to see what the past records are at Canberra Stadium. That'd be an interesting fact.
Let's have a look. If this gives it to me here, no, it doesn't.
No, I'll do it. I'll do it for the episode 9, and we'll give our
all right. Well,
any time.
Quickly running through these guys. Next game. This is where I reckon the value is this week. Panthers and remember they've got no home ground advantage. The Panthers.
They don't play well there.
$1.22. They do not play well. At Combank they're playing because their home ground is Parramatta's home ground. Okay. Cowboys, $4.30. That is juicy. That is juicy. Crystal ball stuff. I am going for the Cowboys to beat the Panthers this week.
Okay.
Right?
No bounce back for the...
No bounce back. They've lost how many on the trot of Panthers?
Cleary's back though, isn't he? With the HIA?
I don't care if he even is, mate. Cowboys, $4.30. I'm tipping Cowboys.
Right? Okay.
Next one.
A
lot of hatred in this one. Bunnies and Roosters.
Rivalry. The rad rivalry.
Wayne Bennett, I'm tipping South. Souths are paying $1.72. The Roosters are paying $2.13. It's pretty even. Their performances are pretty even, but the Rabbits have been more consistent. And again, the Roosters are going to be without Victor Radley. And I'm going South.
That's right, against the mandatory 1 week.
Yeah, so I'm going South.
Can we tell him? Can we give him the mandatory helmet?
Well, maybe we phone up Jonathan Thurston and see if he's got spare ones in his wardrobe we can pass on to him.
Or the head protector, they call them, don't they? Yeah.
Well, I mean...
We used to have a Steeden one. Remember the Steeden?
Yeah.
Because I wonder if Steeden still do the balls. We'll have to have a look at that. Are the balls different in Oztag to
yeah, they are. Yeah.
Are they more pimply or what's the style?
Oh, they got a
less shine?
Yeah, there's no shine on them. They got... Because they're not for kicking either, too. So they're not...
Yeah.
I mean, they are for grubber kicks and dropouts and that, but from a goal kicking point of view, you can't get your boot on it and around it. A little bit bigger belly in the league ones, and you can hold them under.
How much fatigue factor is in Oztag as opposed to rugby league, because you're not fully going in there and whacking them and having to get up?
We only go for 2 20-minute halves, and we can interchange any time we like. And there's a lot of game flow, so there's less stoppages, right?
A couple of big hits I saw. The games are. Like
in Oztag?
Yeah, but deliberate. I think just angry players. Does that happen? And you've got to
that happens down at
you've got to
level.
adjudicate that.
That happens at park level. You get
Sala's. Remember Sala?
Well, when we
didn't like it, we're playing touch footy and Sala would come in
and just not
a big shout out to Sala down in Arncliffe there with the Lebanese boys. But he just whack you if you didn't pay him attention. Wow.
Look, you always get that thug who wants to take someone's head off in a non-contact.
Will you send them off, Scotty?
Yeah.
No trouble.
No trouble whatsoever.
Is it with similar to the soccer, when you go out to these country matches and all that, you don't get harassed, do you, as a referee?
Not in the elite tournaments, but yeah, referees get abused. I've got a friend, Jason Fernie, up in Queensland. He made the news and was supported by.
He made the news.
Yeah, he made the news.
Someone tried to smash him.
Yeah, they king hit him and gave him a bit of brain damage. Yeah, as a referee making a decision was on the.
Is he okay now, first?
He met Wally Lewis, and yeah, he's good. He's good now, but
brain damage.
Yeah,
fair dinkum.
So, like,
there's no place for thuggery in any of the sports.
It's a thankless job. Thankless job.
Yeah. Okay.
Next one. I don't care what the odds are at $2.45 for the Eels. I'm not selecting the Atlas Funks, and
you're not allowed to.
And I can't.
If you're sticking to your guns,
I
you're
can't,
not allowed to.
And I won't. And that's at Combank Stadium as well. And I just want to see, is it
Combank or Epaw Stadium?
No, you've got Panthers playing on Friday night at Combank, which is
it's the Parramatta
Eels home ground.
So this is the thing with all these changing of names and sponsorships.
Yep. And again, they're going to back up.
Brookvile's called Pines Park for Christ.
And they're backing up the next day on Saturday, and the Dragons are at $1.56, which is pretty short odds for an inconsistent team. But after beating the Melbourne Storm, you'd have to say that with Gutho's return to Parramatta, right? I reckon this is going to be a cracking game, but I'm tipping the Dragons, and I'm sticking with that. I think 156 as opposed to 245. I can't see any value in picking Parramatta, and I'm going for the Dragons.
Hopefully, it's going to be a dry weekend. I heard it's going to be fairly dry for the next couple of days. I don't know about the weekend. It did make the games a lot tighter and a lot mishandling.
I think a dry track will suit the Dragons anyway, to be honest.
Yeah.
Saturday afternoon at 5:30, you got the Titans are paying $1.49 against the hapless and lost Dolphins at this point in time. And if Parramatta lose to the Dragons and the Dolphins lose to the Titans could possibly be in the top 4.
That's phenomenal.
And the Dolphins and Parramatta will both be 0-5.
How good is Jaden Campbell? We had a rap on him last year. But I had a bigger rap on AJ Brimson.
You love Brimson.
But I do, but I don't love him after last weekend. Yeah, but how do you rate Jaden Campbell? Has he chance at State of Origin?
No, they've got too much depth. Too much depth in the clubs.
Fair enough.
You got Kalen Ponga, and they're going to. He'll probably get the bench role.
Yeah.
For State of Origin. Mm-hmm. I still think they're going to go Reece Walsh, and they'll play Kalen Ponga off the bench.
Interesting. Imagine if it was the other way around.
No, they wouldn't do that. If they pick Ponga at fullback, they won't pick Reece Walsh.
He still hasn't hit his straps 120%, Walsh. And I apologise for calling you Reece Wesser last week.
Reece Wesser, going back another 20 years to Penrith Reece Wesser.
It was similar. It was Reece, both Reeces, and one was W. Well, the other are both W's, and they're both Aboriginal fellows like my sisters and brothers.
Now, I've tipped the Cowboys they're the best value for the weekend, right? At 4:30 against the Panthers at $1.22. But there is definitely no value. If you're going to put money on the Tigers at $5.80 against the Broncos at $1.15 up at Suncorp Stadium, then I reckon you'd be better off walking past Woolies and giving whatever loose coins you have to the local hobo with his piece of cardboard asking, please, I need to buy baked beans. That would be a better way of spending your money than putting money on the West Tigers, because it might as well be $580 to 1.
What if it is up there? Yeah, if it was a Campbelltown or Leichhardt, could it be different?
No, I can't see it. Not with the Broncos.
We're talking about a 10-point start though. For decisions with the referees and
this is at Suncorp Stadium.
Yeah, you've got to give them an extra.
This is not a 10-point start. This is 15 start.
There you go.
So, mate, I'm going Broncos to beat Tigers.
13 plus, clear,
easy.
Not even 1 to 12. If Luai lifts,
tied early on, but mate,
Galvin a little bit quiet last week or not?
Yeah, it was. It was.
I had him as a banker.
What do we say? Luai's going to. This is real tough.
Yeah. Not easy.
Sea Eagles and Storm is the game that I'm finding the hardest to pick this weekend.
Which one?
The Storm and Sea Eagles. It's at Brookvale Oval.
Oh, that's a tough one, isn't it?
Storm are paying $1.51. I think Manly are good value at $2.58, but they've lost Turbo.
Hang on. Did you say Pines Park?
Pines Park.
Yeah, Brookvale Oval, the old Brookvale Oval.
Yep.
Well, there's your 10-point start there. Penalty after penalty. They always get the first 4 or 5 penalties, Manly. And 6 again.
This is an each way bet. This game.
I think 1 to 12 both sides for the margin players.
Well, Storm had a win against Penrith. They lost last week against Saints. They're going to lift. They say it was because of the wet. And I look just on that. I'm not sure. I don't think Manly really put Parramatta to the sword on the weekend when they could have. So I don't know. My head's probably going to say Storm, but I don't want to see the Storm succeed and Penrith. Those two teams puts Broncos.
But you're also tipping Eagles as one of your top prospects to win the comp.
I'd like to see the Eagles win. My heart says Eagles to win, but my head's saying Storm.
Are there any bigger supporters than Dale Cherry Evans than you? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Mate, Andrew Johns was
a legend.
Yeah, but he was still a dickhead and was drunk or something. And they found him. Was that him or Brad Fittler they found in the gutter? And
I think they've all got up to.
They've all had that shit, and they've all come back.
But you did too when you were 21.
Yeah, don't take take the kids out of the boys,
Yeah, we're met.
So, and there's no excuse for some behaviour. But look, the Sea Eagles, I think, Daly Cherry Evans is, if not the most consummate professional.
Well, every time we look at the stats on Epaw, or every point's a winner, he's always winning with kicking meters. Always.
Yeah.
That's got to.
The way he leads the team.
It's like having Matt Burton on the side. You're always being pinned in your own 10 metres.
So I'm going Storm. And I'm happy to forfeit a tip. And
so if I put a proverbial gun to your head, you'd say both sides 1-12.
Yep.
There's not going to be a runaway there.
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
next, that'll be too close.
Next game.
First place Bulldogs.
We're nearly wrapped up here, folks.
Bulldogs playing $1.42 against the Knights at 2.88. This is again another danger game because
I hate listening to this match.
The Knights, they've had the week off.
I've got my heart in both of these sides.
They've had a week off to recollect, and the teams that have actually had the bye have actually come out the next week and actually have performed quite strongly.
So they need to, but they're missing Dylan Lucas for up to extended 11 or 12 weeks. He's a gun.
I'm still undecided here. I don't think Epaw Stadium is a 10-point home ground advantage for the Doggies.
No, Belmore, you'd be looking.
Belmore,
they'd be nearly invincible.
Look, I'm gonna tip the Knights.
That's unusual for you, Scott.
And I want the Knights to win.
Because they let you down last time when Luke's got pulled out late.
And I'm hoping there, because then that means if the Broncos beat the Tigers on their for and against, then they'll.
Oh, see, there's there's background sublime stuff, shit stuff going on.
All right, so we've got
punters. Take that into account.
So this week I'm tipping
favouritism for
head-to-head.
Favouritism for this thing.
Head-to-head, I'm tipping the Raiders to beat the Sharks. I'm tipping the Cowboys, best value, $4.30 to beat the Panthers. That is, put 100 on that and win yourself 300.
There's your tip of the
That's
round,
my
folks.
tip of the round. Head-to-head, Cowboys at $4.30. Get it now before it shortens.
What do we say here at Epaw? Like and subscribe, and we're going to give you a lot more content as we go on through the year, and some surprise elements are coming.
And you're responsible for what you lose.
Yeah, you are. Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up, Scotty. Bet responsibly like I did. If I was big punter last week, I would have been skinned. I only got the Alex Johnson double on the Thursday, and I got 7 one-leggers, not 2-leggers that we need for the rest of the rounds.
Look, most punters bet responsibly. I know we're a big punter.
Not what I've seen next door. Christ. Don't tell them where we are. I've seen a woman go to the ATM. None of my business, but I was sitting right next to the ATM, trying to hope for a loose 100. I'm only kidding. No. Anyway, she went back and forth after playing machines 7 times. Now there was $100 notes going.
All right, I'm gonna make a political statement here. Right, and this is all I'm going to say in the punting, right?
Yeah.
With the cost of living for the average Aussie
she could afford
in Australia,
to lose that much. She could afford.
I have, yes. And I'm not going to talk about races or religion or anything.
Or the pathetic Prime Minister.
But those people that were not born in Australia that can afford to come and play the pokies and go to ATM machines the way they do.
Well, I was a star.
There is lots of migrants in our country that are not the average Aussies that will just sit there and play the pokies all day long. And the money's coming from overseas.
Well, they're Daigous, a lot of them.
Oh,
you know what a Daigu is?
Enlighten us.
Well, no, a Daigu is someone that sells. Remember the baby formula? They had to stop selling the baby formula because it cost a squillion in China.
What the hell's this got to do with rugby league? But what it is responsible.
But I'm saying, like, I haven't got that money to draw out $600 6 times,
and that's why you're putting $5 punts down and $2 punts. And you know what?
My doubles are $2.50 a leg. That's it.
And there's better value in putting a $5 bet and watching an 80-minute game of football than losing it in 30 seconds.
Of course, brother. Of course.
Quicker than 30 seconds.
But anyway, what's the thing we say here? Like and subscribe. And all you Kiwis, like and subscribe. We want you to join every week. If Scotty's not here, we'll somehow try to work out FaceTime. But he did a fantastic job of coming up from the South Coast today. And we love to have him on.
And we did waffle a bit today.
Well, it was a part of the process because we haven't seen him for so long.
Now, also
some of your fans are commenting now that we want a bigger horse's head. The more he talks about Broncos, the bigger the head should grow.
Hey,
and the further they get up the competition, they are a big threat this year if they keep Reynolds and the team that they got.
Who's got the bye this week? The Warriors. That puts the Warriors
You
already.
like them, I know.
It already puts the Warriors on top of the ladder at the moment, equal with the Bulldogs. And so the Warriors.
But what if Bulldogs win? Then they go.
The Warriors are at 36.
Yeah.
They're at $36, the Warriors. I'm just saying there's a lot of value at the moment.
Okay.
Warriors, $36. Titans, $41. And as I said, Cowboys at $61 and the Cowboys at $4.80. Put 100 on them this weekend. You will make your money.
Although I had a crap lemon week last week, we're going to bounce back on Thursday. Expect a lot of anytime try scorers.
Yep.
The wet weather screwed me with a lot of my tips, and then some didn't get their full runs. So we're going to atone this week. You won't be joining us on Thursday, Scotty. So
thank you for your patience, folks. Thanks for listening. Hope
all the best
in a couple of dull moments and a little bit of a chuckle.
Don't forget to be good to your mother. Huh?
Good to your mum.
Over there.
Love your mum.
In the corner. Always be kind to your mother. Always be kind to your brother. And your
don't
sisters.
Forget your dad.
In memoriam. Yeah.
Don't forget your dad.
Yeah.
Be kind to your mum. Love your mum. Don't forget your dad. And God bless everyone.
To be a kind person
and enjoy your NRL this weekend. There's some cracking games happening.
And your tip is North Queensland. Get on.
Oh, I am going to be like this.
Goodbye, folks.
Typewriter. See you later.
Goodbye. Every point's a winner. So like and subscribe, please. And if you don't, we're going to come and look for your mother. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.